Samsung Dex just crashed.
Operators in play. We do see Inferno pulling out the Tempest right here. Taking control of 10 is definitely going to be big for them and could potentially see them finally getting control of that B flag, which we do see right here.
Here we go. Yep, here we go. They are going to get a hold of it now after finding a couple of kills. Inferno.
I do apologize for that.
Kings Clan don't to Jolly. B is currently the only thing that Kings Clan have a hold of. Acebook's trying to get that one back. It's a 1-point game, but eventually Kings Clan are going to be able to get a hold of their home flag. They should technically take a small lead heading into the half. It's first to 75. We'd go for another half of 75. It is going to be Kings Clan with a 75-72 lead. It's only a 3-point difference heading into the second half.
Yeah, definitely a really close game. So the players you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on are the ones with the high kills. Obviously, a lot of these players are going to be using persistence. So whenever you have persistence, ultimately, a lot of times it turns into just a frag fest to see who's able to get a VTOL into the sky first. If we see a VTOL in play for one team or the other, more than likely that will turn the tides in a big way, and a lot of it's going to come down to whether or not there are enough SAM turrets, whether or not there are enough FHJs to be able to counter it. No double cap for either team off the start, but with 3 players up above 14 kills for Kings Clan, definitely...
French Infinity 2-0 down in the series. It must be a tense moment. They don't want to go into this loser's bracket. Let's go for an Xperia dial-in with French Infinity.
One bottom dead.
Elon. I got him.
One more bottom wood.
Come back alive.
Two bottom wood. Two
Don't
bottom wood.
they,
Two bottom wood. They're gonna go for B.
Yeah, they might.
2B. They put trophy, they're trophy.
Oh shit, I'm sitting
Got trailer one.
Nice.
B.
Let's go, we got a fucking VTOL, come on.
Ooh, they got VTOL.
Let's triple cap. We gotta focus for the triple cap, boys.
It's already just gone.
Get it.
I'm on B.
Look at B.
Yeah, as we expected, we did see a VTOL coming into play right there. On the bright side for Kings Clan, they were able to get it down really quickly, and even with that VTOL going up, they're able to hold control of the B flag. We see Notorious pushing in. He's going to lose his Annihilator. That's a big loss for French Infinity. Acebook's looking to take control of that trailer area, but more than likely, we're going to start to see more and more score streaks come into play for Kings Clan pretty soon here. We do see Jolly inside of the Goliath himself, and actually nobody inside of the Goliath for Kings Clan, which is a little bit surprising to see. Could potentially see an A-cap coming out of French Infinity, but it looks like they were knocked off in time.
Sabola now. Let's see what he can get going. Into the Goliath he goes as well. French Infinity still behind here. And not in control. A and B belongs to Kings Clan, but not by much. A needs to beat the camp, as does B, but the kill's starting to rain on through for Kings Clan once again. Notorious and Jolly trying to get something going for French Infinity. 20 points or so behind. With 2.5 minutes to go, it's not a good spot to be in, but Jolly
like
going to jump straight out into the open and going to get taken down, but can Acebook get a hold of A here? He does so. This is not too bad of a spot from French Infinity though, but looking towards it, I think, you know, that with the difference, I think they should be potentially able to get back up on this one. 12 points a second for the 2-cap. Sorry, so it's not really going to be a lot here at all. It should be a very close game heading to the last 2 minutes. Kings Clan, can they get this one done within the time? They should be able to on a 1-cap, but currently it's a 3-cap for French Infinity. They've done so well, but is that going to be enough to catch back up? A 10-point difference with 1:47 to go here. It's still a 2-cap, and it's going to be a 2-cap now for Kings Clan. That's a really big move over towards A. They're going to negate that deficit away. 10 seconds for them now to go. Can they lock this one down? Look at the kill starting to come in here from French Infinity, though. Can they get a hold of something? They've decapped B. Kings Clan was so close to getting a hold of that, Bobby.
Yeah, the momentum just keeps going back and forth. We had a triple cap.
3-cap.
The 3-cap happening again. They could be able to close this one out if they're able to hold it. They only need to hold the double at this point.
They're going.
Yep, they just need the double.
French
King Clan
is
need to
gonna
start to
take
get
it.
moving now. That lead is going
French
to
is gonna
chance
take it.
any second now. French Infinity heading to the lead. If you're Kings Clan, you've got to move. Look at the kill starting to come in.
It's
It's
too
for
late.
French Infinity.
It's impossible.
They are
for
surely
Infinity to win.
going
They
to
would have
send this to
3-cap.
another map. That is going to be 2-1 now. French
Holy
Infinity with a
fuck.
huge 3-cap towards the end, and they get it done. 150 to 147. A massive map from them. Let's have a look at what's going on between Singularity and Grizzly Gaming. Though on the same map, of course, we head back over towards Fire
Singularity's
Range.
got that
This one
massive lead.
looking very, very good for Singularity so far.
Yeah, based
yeah,
on how they
Singularity's
played,
got
it's not
this
too
no
surprising to
problem.
see them with the 40-point lead off the start right here. Obviously, they would like to be able to close this one out and get the sweep. Sem actually nearly missed out on that gunfight, but it looks like Singularity with a much better choice of score streaks than we saw from Kings Clan last game. In my opinion, the choice of score streaks was really the reason that they ended up losing that one. They weren't able to capitalize, and all of the Goliaths, the VTOL, everything else coming in for French Infinity allowed them to clutch. But
Oh
the
my
triple
gosh,
cap,
Singularity's got
with the
3 caps
half
going on.
just started for Singularity, this is going to be next to impossible for French Infinity to turn around. They do get some progress on both the A and B flags, but not able to get the cap. We got cluster strikes coming in over on the A flag to further prevent that A cap. And once again, with the triple cap in play for Singularity, there's just not a whole lot that French Infinity is going to be
Yeah,
able
this
to
is a
do.
really good match. I mean, it's not for
Singularity
Grizzly,
has
but
the
Singularity is
now.
getting, he's just
Causing all
dominating.
sorts of problems. Oh my goodness, you don't want to be running into that in the open, but does get taken down. But Singularity was just looking so strong. Bobby, you're very, very right. Grizzly Gaming are in a very rough spot here. 2-0 down in the series. You're down on domination by a good 50 or 60 points.
It kind of
60
sucks
points
how
is
weak
pretty much
Goliath
bang on.
actually is. You would think
It's
it'd be
not
so
looking
much
good. The kill's starting to
beefier,
come
but
in
it's
for
not.
no. Can they find some feedback here? But with 3 minutes to go, you would need now a perfect game. They need a 2-cap for at least 2 minutes here. At least 2 minutes.
Yeah, we do have Turu at the bottom of wood with
think the
a
streams,
Goliath
their
for French
games are
Infinity,
almost
but
done.
right now he's trying to play map control,
think
and
it
what
goes
they
at
really
most
need
4
are flag
hours.
caps. So as long as he's down there, they're not really going to pose any type of a threat for making a comeback. Obviously, at this point, it's going to require a triple cap for French Infinity to win, and it's actually the triple cap coming in for Singularity. Sem's going to go ahead, call in the rest of his score streaks, and I believe only 14 points off of a VTOL might pull
Yeah,
that in just to flex
Singularity's
on them a
got
little
this
bit
one.
and to assert their dominance, but it looks like Singularity is going to come in with a dominant 3-0 sweep against French Infinity
Singularity
to take
is
the
gonna
win
be a
150
tough
to
one.
65.
Well, there you go. Singularity is certainly putting a stop to them in that game there as well. But I feel like we have to go back and talk about the game. Kings Clan versus French Infinity. Unbelievable plays going on that one, right? Like, what was that comeback in the domination? Like, they just held it down.
I think, from my point of view, Kings Clan just turtled up too much. They knew they could win on a 1-cap if they could just keep a hold of it. And in the end, they lost it, then got 3-capped it. All of a sudden, it's a scramble to try and find something. I don't think they should have turtled up. Honestly, I think in that scenario, the game's working for you. You're playing well. Like, just sit on the 2-cap like you were doing. So they turtled up far too much and got caught out for it. It's as simple as that. But well played to the other team. Kings Clan now really do have a game up against French Infinity, 2-1 in that series. And honestly, I'm intrigued to see what happens now. I would imagine Kings Clan are surely still going to close it out. But that is not going to give you confidence heading into domination throughout the rest of the week.
Do you think they might be a little bit shaken, though? Because
Yeah.
here's the thing about domination and keeping your core, right? We've always said 2-1, you work out the point difference per minute. But 3-1, like getting 1 extra points gives you basically triple score. And it happened to them twice. Bobby, how did that go so badly wrong for them?
I mean, it really came down to Kings Clan just didn't use the right score streaks. We saw multiple Goliaths. We saw a VTOL come in for Grizzly or for French Infinity, and for some reason, Kings Clan just didn't have any of those high-value score streaks, especially in a game of domination where typically most players are going to be using persistence. Most players are going to have like a Goliath. They're going to have a cluster strike. We saw a lot of cluster strikes for Kings Clan, but none of those long-duration score streaks that allow them to hold control. And because they didn't have any of those selected, obviously they weren't able to come out on top. But hopping into the hard point right here, it looks
I
like they
think
are
Kings
turning
Clan's
things
gonna
around
take
in
the
a
hard
big
point.
way. 2 players still
honest.
stuck at 0 kills for French Infinity. Meanwhile, everybody on King's Clan seems to be in the zone as they are pretty much completely set up for the next hardpoint as well.
Set up for P2. Looking good for them now as French Infinity actually going to find themselves locked in there. King's Clan starting to make the rotation over, but you can really, like, typically in hardpoint, it isn't one of those things where it comes down to that first hill being one that you can pick a lot up on. But on this map specifically, on Crash, you really can do a lot of damage to your opponents initially off the rip. And we can see King's Clan did just that. 53-11 is how it's looking. Jolly and Kodo, can they find themselves a way back into this one onto the ground floor? 30 seconds to go. King's Clan in control. Here comes the push from Jolly. They are going to be able to make this one through. Sabola and Dez combine well.
So much fire.
Xe and Via do go down, but Nox and Inferno answering back. Jolly with a nice angle onto Nox. French Infinity is just trying to lock something down right now, but it's a 40-point difference after 2 hills.
Yeah, this has been a good turnaround for French Infinity. It looked like they were going to struggle off the start right here, but they've been able to hold good control of that hard point. They've got people contesting on the next as well. They're going to be able to clear out Narcs right there, which is going to be huge for holding that map control. It looks like right now they're trying to take control of spawns. If they're able to do so, they could very well hold this next hard point, which would also set them up very well for that 4th hard point, which is typically one of the toughest to break in Call of Duty Mobile. We do have somebody on the hill in Angel right now, and he's going to be able to keep ticking upwards for King's Clan, who's looked like they have turned around this one, and they've been able to regain map control that they had previously lost. Up 40 points already. It looks like they're going to have a good chance of closing
King,
this
I
one
still
out.
have my bet on King.
Looking good for them. Got a good rotation over towards blue as well, so King's Clan should be able to lock this one in for the next 30 seconds. Although it's one of those ones that's, you know, it's not necessarily that easy to lock down. There's so many different angles you can be pushed from. And right now, King's Clan, though, we're doing a good job of that. Sabola then eventually comes in and finds a kill, so French Infinity still staying within touch. Even if they pick up every single point, they'll still be around 45 or so behind here.
Yeah,
And
Angel
they try and lock something, lock more points in here. French Infinity actually doing all right. They are going to find them there. But look towards this rotation for King's Clan. It's such a close hill on P3 from P2. And King's Clan are there, ready and win.
Yeah, Angel's in the power position right now. Inferno as well is going to be able to hold down that back alley really easily. So with both of those players set up, it's going to be super, super tough for French Infinity to get a break right here. Angel playing that head glitch perfectly. We've also got some
There's a
score streaks
50-point
on the
lead
way
right
in
now.
as we see the red missile flying down. King's Clan up by 60 points already, and they could very well win it on this 4th hard point before we even make a rotation. They actually hopped out of the hill right there, which could have ended up costing them, but they're able to get back on in time to get max amount of points. We do see Ace Boogs with the grab spikes right there, looking to contest to push this to a 5th hill. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see it. It seems like right now, King's Clan could potentially close it out right here.
Yeah, Nox finds 2 as well. Dez is already getting himself set up for the next hill, but it's not going to make a difference. The time is all with King's Clan. They have to gamble with their other players being able to make it through. It's not looking like they're going to be able to. 3, 2, and 1. And this will be King's Clan. Heading into the next
Like I
round,
said,
3 to
King's
1.
Clan had it.
150 to 49. They seem like a dominant hardpoint team, Brycey, and I'm excited to see if they can continue that form because they look so good on hardpoint.
You know what? I actually have to agree with you there. From what was a little bit of a comeback for French Infinity on that domination,
I think we're gonna
King's
have
Clan
one more
was-
game
it almost
set,
seemed like
and
they were
that's gonna
upset.
be the loser
Like,
bracket today.
hey, how dare you? How dare you come here and take us from a game like that? Because they just put on a show there in that hard point. It was devastating for French Infinity, who probably thought, hey, we're back in this now, we've got a good time, and King's Clan went, no, hold on, this game's ending. It should have ended last map, we're ending it now. Bobby, one thing I did want to ask you, right, is about shotguns in this game, because occasionally we do see them kind of get pulled out. What are the drawbacks to the benefits of using that kind of system rather than just, you know, the typical SMG meta we're seeing
The
all over the
shotguns
place?
have a drawback.
Yeah, so
'cause
obviously the benefit of the shotgun is the one-tap ability.
Mhm.
If you hit that
That's
first
correct.
shot and you aim for the upper body, you're basically guaranteed a kill anywhere within about 15 to 20 meters, depending on what attachments you're going to use on the shotgun. And that's part of the reason why we've seen it become so much of the meta. Even in some of the other regions, like Japan and EU, we've seen more and more, or Japan and South America, we've seen more and more people using the shotguns, and even over in Arena, there's just so many people that have realized how powerful it can be. Even when you're hip firing, obviously, you do have some added potential in ADSing and increasing the range on it, but especially when it comes to a game of Hardpoint, when you got so many people trying to push into a point, especially in a map like Standoff, where there are so many close encounters and tight angles, the shotgun just gives you so much power and so many opportunities to be out an SMG, which is still going to kill quickly, but not as quickly as an insta-kill.
No, it makes an awful lot of sense, and as we saw, using it to devastating effect. I suppose when you get into these a map like that, it's always going to be a little bit difficult for people to kind of try and push against the shotgun, especially if you've got the teammates backing you up, right, and you got trophies or you're locked down into a hill. Tan, what's your takeaway then from that hard point as well? Because it was a little bit one-sided.
Honestly, it's just the rotations, isn't it? Especially P2 and moving over towards P3 and 4. They just seem to lock it down from the beginning. As I was saying during the game, when we're during Crash, it's one of these things, that first hill, you can lock down a lot of time there. If you lock down a lot of time because you've got third story control, you can lock down rotations for P2. If you've got third story control, you get P2. And if you get a good rotation over towards blue, you should have a good rotation over towards P4 as well. So it's one of those ones that can really snowball with how the map is set up. And they just did it perfectly. Kings Clan did everything they should have correctly. They gave over the scrap when they were needing to, when they actually needed to rotate, and they locked down that fourth hill perfectly. They got it done within one rotation, within 4 hills, and they'd be very happy heading into the winners.
Yeah, well, obviously they are going to move forward in this tournament, but we are going to take a quick break now as we go forward into more games here at this tournament, because it has been a fantastic first set of games already, but obviously we are going to have even more coming up just after this break. It is, of course, time for us to be right back. We'll see you right after this.
You know what phrase we can finally retire? Good. For a mobile game. Fun fact, Sony's been getting the best out of entertainment and technology for ever. And Call of Duty has been making games since, well, before some of us were born. Isn't it about time we had a mobile gaming experience that's just good, period? Maybe even great? Turns out we do. Call of Duty made the impossible mobile game with Call of Duty Mobile, and Sony made the impossible smartphone for gamers with Xperia. I can get the edge with wider than widescreen, enhance my game literally with Game Enhancer, share my epic wins with the flick of a finger, and do it all while I keep my cool with HS Power Control. It's casual when I want to kick back, and core when I need to kick butt. It's the gaming experience built with me in mind. Sony brought the gear. Sony's Xperia plus Call of Duty Mobile, because gamers deserve.
Let's do a bit of drawing. I don't know if y'all can see this. Yeah, there's just a 2-minute wait until the next match starts. Yeah, I think there's probably going to be one or two more matches. Because I don't think it's going to last longer than 4 hours. Because, yeah, next claim, the max points you can earn for duration of watching is 240. I think we may have 1 or 2 more matches today. And they'll probably do all the loser brackets tomorrow. And then have the winner. And then have a winner. Let me look at Allnet real quick.
bringing you more action and more games. But we have a new duo that has hit it here, and it's already one of my favorite ones because it doesn't include a ton. Taves, you're rejoining us. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm good. We're going straight back into this and obviously rolling forward with the next set of games and everything going on. But I think it's been a really good
and great competition. Like Cold Esports and Hammers have definitely played up to what their expectations were, but there's definitely some underdogs that could cause a little bit of trouble as well. So I'm excited to see how the rest of these games are going to play out.
Me too as well. And of course, we do have an updated bracket to show you all at home exactly what is happening right now in these playoffs. And for me, it's always interesting to know, when these teams start moving forward, what matchups are we going to see? Who exactly is going to match up at what point, how the score's gone down. I think I can say safely, while I'm not an expert like some of you, I don't think we've seen any real shocks so far in this tournament. But as you can see now, our winner semi-final is populated Hammers Esports and Cold Esports against Kings Clan and Team Singularity. Bobby, I'm guessing I'm not maybe right, I might be wrong, but any surprises for you?
Not really. These are pretty much the four teams that I think most people expected to be toward the top. These have been the teams that have just really dominated the EU region, especially as of recently. All of them very experienced. They've got a lot of really solid players, and they're also very well-rounded. You're not seeing a whole lot of performances where you got one player that's really toward the bottom of the leaderboard. It's typically pretty consistent across the way. I think these next two matchups will be two of the best that we've seen so far, and are likely going to be indicators of who we're going to see in the grand finals.
Yeah, I kind of agree as well. Taves, for you, is there any kind of team that you're already picking out as a big favorite for you here now that we've seen basically everybody play?
I mean, I was watching on my break here. I was watching Singularity play, and not only it was a very entertaining game, but they feel like they could be on their way to do really good in this tournament today.
Yeah,
I'm also kind of hoping that U4X is gonna do something in this lower bracket here too. I don't know. I got a sweet spot for them from watching earlier.
That's fair, Bobby. Do you agree with that? Is there anybody here in the lower bracket you're expecting to make some serious waves?
Yeah, I would say U4X is probably my favorite team to cause a little bit of trouble. We didn't get to see a whole lot from QLash, but I feel like they were able to put up a pretty good fight, especially given the team that they were going up against. So these two are definitely going to be fun to watch as well. I think either one of those teams could potentially upset one of the players that ends up coming down from the winner's bracket after these next few games. So should be interesting to see who comes out on top there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. And of course,
I believe
we're going to get to see all these games today. And if you aren't familiar with a double elimination bracket and maybe are just tuning in to watch it here, it does mean that they will have this chance to fight all the way back, and they could still end up in the grand final. So very important, they are not out of the tournament. You have to lose twice, that's why it's called double elimination, to actually be out of the tournament. So just keep an eye on your favorite team. They go into that lower bracket, all is not lost. They do have a chance to fight their way back. It's just a little bit more difficult, that's all it is. But speaking of difficult, these teams are obviously going to throw down once again, and we're going to have a little look at what maps and modes they will be playing and see whether or not it gives us any kind of indication of how we think the series is going to go. And of course, lots of fan favorite maps in this one, of course. And if you are watching as well, the traditional way this goes is hardpoint, search, destroy, dom, hardpoint, search, destroy. So a good mix on 3 of the game modes here. But I suppose I should probably ask the experts. We have our games coming up. Who do you think are the favourites to win in it? Bobby, I'll start with you.
I mean, typically we tend to see teams with a really solid sniper end up coming out on top, especially because they can swing the tide so much when it comes to search and destroy. So one player to definitely keep an eye out is Narcs. He's one of the players for Kings Clan and has been really good for them. We saw him sniping previously and play a really big role in that. There's also just a broad spectrum of other players that have played really big roles as well. Typically, the shotgun players are the ones that either downplay significantly or just absolutely pop off, especially when it comes to hardpoint. So that'll be a big thing to keep an eye out for as well. But all 4 of these teams are just so evenly matched. I don't know who to pick at this point. If I had to pick one based on the first round, I would probably pick Cold Esports.
Oh, interesting pick. Taves, are you going to agree with them on this one? Are you going to Cold or are you going Hammer?
I mean, Cold, if I'm not misremembering, they went 3-0 in the first round there. But I feel like Drawry, he had a snipe when I was commentating there on Meltdown. I mean, sniper is always fun to watch, and it's also very important to get those picks on long range. So I'm gonna go with Hammer Esports here.
Oh, okay, a little bit of a disagreement coming forward, and of course, that's fine. At this point in time, you got to remember, this is winners semi-final. Both these two teams have had a pretty good run so far in this tournament, but that's where it gets interesting as we go in now to see our maps and modes for this one. We will be starting off on Crash Hardpoint, then Standard S&D, Meltdown Domination, Summit Hardpoint, and Firing Range S&D. Bobby, is there any one of these that kind of sticks out for you that gives you an idea of maybe even changes your mind about how you think it's going to go?
Standoff S&D is definitely one that sticks out. Typically, it's a little bit tougher to get sniper picks. Obviously, snipers are still going to play a big role, but there's also a lot of tight angles, and if players are deciding to go with a heavy A push, a lot of times there's going to be a lot of smokes in play that will prevent snipers from being very effective right there. So a lot of it's probably going to come down to how aggressive teams are playing on that map. And typically, whoever's more aggressive on the offensive side will be given the advantage.
All right, that's another sounds pretty good to me. Great breakdown there. Tabes, anything from you? What map are you looking forward to see the most?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Meltdown, and Domination on Meltdown is going to be interesting because there is quite a lot of open space in it, so I'm wondering if you can get some sort of range. Obviously, we don't have to focus too much on the sniper, but an AR to lock down that mid push is going to be interesting. And I mean, it is a classic map that we've seen so many times before, so I'm really looking forward to a Meltdown on Dom there. Or Dom on Meltdown, excuse me.
That's fine. I think either way it works for it. But let's take a little look and talk about one of our teams here, because they weren't our featured game in the first round here. So let's talk a little bit about Cold Esports and exactly how we think they're going to play for it. It seems like their rivals are Singularity, but Bobby, can you fill me in any more on them?
I don't know a ton about Cold Esports. I know that Spiky was really, really big for them in that first game. Very interesting information from Sam saying he does not have a favorite weapon, a favorite map, or a rival. So he's really the wild card in this game. You could see anything out of him. You could see absolute phenomenal gameplay, or you could see absolutely nothing. We've got no indicator from him, and I think his game plan right here is to be the dark horse and let his gameplay speak for itself.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I'm just looking here. One of the interesting things for me in this team is favorite map, right? Because usually teams have favorite maps. Some players may prefer one or the other, but if your team is good at a map, it becomes a favorite map because you win it more often than not. For Cold Esports, I mean, basically all pick different, right? You've got Standard, Scrapyard, Raid, Sav didn't answer the question, and Firing Range. So what does that say to you about, whether or not this team's all on the same page, or do they just feel confident across a wide breadth of it, Tate?
I mean, sometimes when people were thinking about your favorite maps, I also feel like maybe that's just a map that you personally do the best on. I mean, but it's going to be, I don't know, both Standoff and Raid are in the rotation, and also Firing Range. I mean, Scrapyard, I don't think we're seeing that today, so maybe Ibot might struggle a little bit if that is his favorite map.
I don't know.
But
I think they just answered the question.
It's all about team play.
Like,
if
what
the team
map's
functions
favorite?
as you say, they're going to do better. So hopefully they have a map together that they actually prefer.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I think when you get into this sort of intense tournament, right, this is where it kind of all gets onto the line, and your team all has to be pulling the same direction. You can't have a player with an off day because maybe they're the one holding the cut, or maybe they're the one early to the rotation, and if the player is underperforming, it can affect, and especially in this event, right? Every single time you win, you go up in the rankings and you earn more money. So these teams are playing right now for like an extra 1,000, then 2,000, 5,000. Like, it is very, very expensive to even lose a map right now into this one. Do you think that's going to become a factor, Bobby? Like the pressure of this kind of format?
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to the fact that we ultimately have $1 million on the line in the Stage 5 COD Mobile Championship. So honestly, what they're playing for at this point is almost kind of pocket change in relation to the grand scheme of things. And one map loss, obviously you've got a chance to come back, but it makes it twice as difficult because it means you can't lose a single another map. When you get to the grand finals, you're going to be going up against a team that's going to be undefeated and will need to be beaten twice in order to be taken out. So obviously all these teams are going to be trying to stay in the winner's bracket till the end to maximize their odds of not only taking away that top $15,000 prize, but moving on to compete for the $1 million.
No, it makes a lot of sense to me, right? I'm guessing as well, you know, these teams have obviously had to get here through the stages. You know, they've had to go stage 1, 2, 3, and this is actually stage 4 for them. So it's not like they're going to be not used to playing at a super high level, but I don't know. This is finally the opportunity for a lot of players to say, hey, if I have a rivalry or I've lost to you before, this is where it counts. It counts more here than it will down in practice. Taves, do you think that anybody's like holding any serious grudges in this one?
I'm not sure if they're holding grudges per se, but I mean, if you have competed at home, you've done all the stages. I'm sure that there's a couple of teams that you want to beat to and also kind of like show, well, you know what, you might have beat us before. This is our time now, and I'm looking forward to see what Spiky can do, because I've heard that he's done a couple of appearances but not really came all the way through. He's kind of finished second place in quite a few tournaments here, so I'm hoping that he might step up here, but that also means that he has a little bit of experience.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing it as well, because this is a very serious match for these teams. Like I said, you get into this one, you get into the winners final, and once you're there, you're pretty much just on the cusp of getting into that grand final and where the money is, and it is a significant step up in the cash as well here. But I'm going to ask you one last time about your predictions, because now we've talked about the players, we've talked about the maps. Bobby, are you sticking with your original prediction?
Yeah, I'm taking Cold Esports.
Okay, Taves, has anything changed your mind?
No, it's still Hammer. I mean, I'm not favoritizing anything, but it's gonna be a good game. I'm calling it. It's gonna go to map 5 here for Hammer Esports.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
3-2. Sorry.
Okay, that's a bold call. Well, it looks like our casters are in fact disagreeing on exactly who they think is going to win this one. And of course, you can join in on the chat as well as the socials to see who you think is going to end up coming out on top with Hammer and Cold Esports. I believe we are about to get into this first lap. There it goes. All right, Cold versus Hammer. Over to our casters to take it away.
Yeah, we got a lot of Molotovs coming in off the start. Not too surprising to see. We do see Cold Esports taking control of the 3-story for the time being, but it is Hammers taking control of the hard point. Typically, this is one of the more difficult hard points to pull just because there are so many different points of entry. So a lot of times, you see teams play for a couple points, but ultimately they're going to be able to try to maximize their odds by playing for that second hard point and trying to set up in that 3-story to see if they can get control. We see Sab dropping off the start right there, and not too surprising to see pretty even scoring off the start.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a neck-to-neck in the beginning here, but it's definitely a lot of fighting to get this 2-story. I feel like if you can get control over that, as you said, you can get control of the next hard point, but you can also look down at the first hard point. So I feel like that's why both teams are actually running there to try and fight and take it over.
Not enough, though.
Yeah, we see a lot of long-range weapons in play, especially for Hammers Esports. I talked to you earlier about how we have an SMG meta, but we see 2 ARs and an LMG in play, as we see Palma using the chopper right there. That's one gun that we've started to see used more and more in competitive Call of Duty Mobile. We do have Dim locking down the hard point for Cold Esports for the time being. Smoke's going in on the back side, spraying down lane, and actually able to get the smoke shot right there. That was huge. Slides the corner, get another kill as well. Jim absolutely dominating this hard point with an ICR, which is typically not known for its close range ability, but making really big plays, as we do finally have Drari and Pana pushing in. It looks like they'll be able to take it for the time being. Not sure whether or not they're going to be able to hold it, though.
That was a beautiful play. He was putting down that trophy system early when he got the hard point, and I feel like that's the one thing that can help you, like a couple of smokes and a couple of mollies in there, and you have no idea what's going on. So putting down the trophy early was a big play by him there, and I was impressed by the movement that he was having as well when he was going back and forth, kind of locking down both entrances. That's the kind of stuff you want to see, especially when you're playing on a touchscreen, like being able to turn around that fast. That's huge. That's very impressive.
Yeah, we actually have a big loss right there. I believe it was Sab for Cold Esports, goes for the grab spikes and gets taken out mid-jump. That's going to be a big loss for them, which will easily secure the hard point. And as I say that, it gets cleared out. Molotovs keep going in. Cold Esports does get a player on, but with Palma pushing in with the chopper, gonna be tough to stop. He gets taken out by Yaya though. It's gonna be big frags coming in. Cold Esports retakes control. They're going to be looking to take control of spawns as well to maximize their odds of taking that fourth hardpoint. 2 players on the hill, 1 player going up top of the building for Hammers Esports, and it is exactly tied up at 54-54. Absolute madness going on. No real kill advantage. Nobody with crazy map control. We do get Hammers Esports on the hill for a little bit right here. More than likely, they'll be able to take the lead heading into the next hardpoint, and it looks like they got control of spawns as well. More than likely, the way that operators play out right now is going to play a big role in who wins this game.
Yeah, you can see that the operator skills are now charged for a couple of players on the team, and I mean, that is the Annihilator. I think you said that it has gotten a little bit of a nerf, but I surely can't tell because I still see players just getting kills with it left and right. So I mean, the Annihilator seems very popular, and also it is powerful because I mean it's a one-shot kill there if you have locked in a nice little shot on the enemy.
Yeah, we see
points as well. This is actually going very well for Hammers.
Yeah,
right now.
And it's honestly going as well as they could possibly hope. As I say that, we get 2 kills coming in for Cold Esports. Make it 3, I believe. They have managed to get the break on one of the most difficult to break hard points in the game. More than likely, they'll be able to get the last 23 points here, but they're going to be sending players out to try to rotate for that next hard point as well. Probably the hardest to break hardpoint that we're going to see in all of the Call of Duty Mobile Championships, just because there are only 2 points of entry. One's a ladder, one's a stairway, both very, very difficult to try to push in on. We do see Spiky on the backside right there. Probably going to go for the ladder climb pretty soon, but actually gets taken out. So despite the fact that Cold has been able to bring this one back a little bit closer, a 13-point lead already, and control of this hardpoint is going to be huge for Hammers Esports. If we don't see a contest or a break coming out of Cold, it will likely be Hammers Esports coming out on top in this first one.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah, that was really huge. They were able to lock it down for a long time now as well. I was just surprised to see Kush there going down. It was great map knowledge from the enemy team there, knowing like maybe there's a guy lurking next to the ladder.
Yeah, we see Primza actually, I think he's trying to spot somebody climbing up, not able to find them, but all they have to do is hold it for another 20 seconds, and with the control that they've got right now, I don't think that there's going to be anything Cold Esports is going to be able to do. The rotations for Hammers were just too good off the start. They definitely have been winning their gunfights, and map control has played a huge role in that as well. We can see Pana still has the War Machine to finish out the game, but it is too little, too late. Right as the contest comes out for Cold Esports, we do see Hammers coming away with the win.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We certainly do. Well, Hammers certainly opening up there against Cold Esports, and we did say, you know, this is going to be a more entertaining game, with the fact that we know both teams do have the pedigree to put it on. But Taves, you must feel a little bit happy, you know, your prediction is starting to come true.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Maybe it's a little bit of luck of the draw. What can I say? But I think that rotation was just so huge when there's so many people around a hard point like that, and it's also, as you said, the hardest hard point to retake. That's going to be very difficult for Cold Esports to do anything about it.
No, I couldn't agree more.
No,
Bobby, your
I need to get more into
Cold Esports then. Was that the only mistake they made, or were there other areas they can improve as they move forward in this series?
I think when it comes to Crash, and especially Crash hardpoint, the biggest thing that you got to do is make the rotations toward those 4th and 5th hardpoints early, and ultimately that was what ended up costing them. They gave up too much time on the 4th one, and because they pushed so hard into that 4th hardpoint, they weren't able to take control of the 5th. Honestly, I would have liked to see them try to play control for that 5th earlier to try to give them a little bit more in the options that they were going to have, and unfortunately, we did have Hammers hitting the rotation sometime. Whenever you have that high ground, especially in the 5th hardpoint, it's just going to be so difficult to win your gunfights trying to get a push into there, which was a big reason why Hammers was able to come away with more kills as well. Obviously, the strategy teams are going to play in Search and Destroy, and on Domination is going to be completely different, especially since Domination on Meltdown can typically be really, really chaotic with equal access to that B site and
really
2 rooms on the opposite side, so I'm really intrigued to see how both teams are going to play there.
That's fair enough. I was going to say, you know, now we're moving to the Search. Good time to rebound into this one as well, but You said
When we're
before, you
gonna
know, when we
search
talk about the
destroy,
searches that
I
we've got in
think
this
we're
one, the
gonna
snipers
they're gonna
may
end off
not
after the
play as
second
much
match
of
this
an
league.
impact as we thought they were
I
going
don't
on
think they're
before.
gonna
Is that
go
what
into
you
like
think?
8
Your
matches.
thoughts are going into the search and destroy?
Yeah, I'm expecting pretty aggressive pushes into the A site for the most part. It'll depend on who's on the offensive side, but more than likely we'll see some shotguns in play as well.
there's shotguns.
As I say that, we actually see somebody getting a pick with the shotgun right off the start, as we do have U4X versus QLash. In our other game,
what?
it's actually going to be a hard point over on standoff,
Yeah,
round
like I
number
said.
1. You can see
This
U4X
one I
actually
have
locking
to-
it down
U4X
right there.
is
They've
gotta
got
take
control,
it,
and
no
as
problem.
expected, we thought that they might be able to give some teams some trouble down in the losers bracket. Looking like they've got pretty good control. We do see a couple of trip mines going out over top, but it is U4X with the lead off the start.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, this is
U4X
looking pretty
could take
strong for
this.
them. It's, again, such a classic map standoff. I'm sure some of these guys have played it before on other platforms.
Sorry.
Like, if you have a little bit of seniority on Call of Duty, that could actually play a big part on a map like this.
And actually, if you look down at QLash Esports, we've actually got a celebrity in the Call of Duty mobile community, Flacco, making his first appearance in Stage 4. Known as one of the best snipers in the game. Obviously, typically not going to see a whole lot of sniping whenever it comes to hardpoint on standoff, but able to pick up 2 kills off the start still. QLash not
You
really able to get anything
motherfucker.
going right here, as we do have U4X locking down that next hardpoint as well. Lots of ARs to hold some of those mid-range angles. We do see one player taken out early, but able to hold down that gas station area pretty well. They've got players inside of Grandma's, and it looks like they're going to be able to continue to grow this lead.
I almost got a little bit of a goosebumps when you said Grandma's house there. It's like a very classic Call of Duty call-out, if I can say. It's definitely looking pretty strong for U4X. I mean, I was watching, casting their first game here in the tournament today, and I thought they were very strong. So I'm actually wondering if they're not going to be the guys who are coming out on top here. But it's obviously it's very early to tell. But you see the grab spikes ready for Jerry, and I'm just hoping that he will just slam them down and get a couple of kills. Yeah, I think he just got wall banged by Tripster.
Yeah, the LMG and the high wall penetration, able to get the easy kill. We see Seth already up at 11 kills. We saw him dominate in the first matchup as well. Just so good at using that shotgun, especially in standoff hardpoint with 12 kills on the board. Already used up his Annihilator and working toward another one. It's looking pretty good for U4X. We got Miz up in double digits, as well as Trips is really just trying to hold down this surrounding area to make life easier on his teammate up in the hard point. We do get contested from a little hop-up push right there, but Trips is going to hop up, retake control of the hard point, and it's looking like they're going to surpass the 100-point mark. It could potentially win this on that 4th hard point without having to go to a next rotation.
I mean, QLash is ready for the rotation, but I'm not sure if you look at the kill count on U4X. I mean, they are really starting to draw away a little bit with three people over 10 kills, and that I think it's going to be hard for QLash to do anything unless they might be saving up some of their operator skills for that final last push. I'm hoping we get some nice action with that.
Yeah, U4X has been able to lock down that next hard point, and that's going to make things almost impossible for QLash. Nobody able to surpass that double-digit marker. We do have a stealth chopper up in the sky. We've got a sentry gun down. There's just not a whole lot that they can do right now, and we do see a War Machine doing some damage for Mare right there. They're able to get the break for the time being and may very well be able to push this to a 5th hard point. We got Seth trying to win that gunfight, and just like that, they actually push back onto the hard point. Only 10 more seconds needed, and with only one player close enough, Miz actually dodges the grab spikes by jumping right there. 13 kills on the board for him. Only a couple more seconds needed. We get the contest, perfectly timed grab spikes, but it's not going to be enough. And we do have U4X coming out on top, 150 to 39.
U4X.
Well, there we go. U4X coming out on that one. And it's always a good thing to get that first map in that lower bracket because, like you said, you've already suffered a loss in this tournament. So getting that first map is a little bit like, whew, maybe we're okay. Maybe we can keep moving forward in this one as well. But, you know, it's been great games everywhere so far. But, Tabes, I have to ask you, what was your highlight from that one?
I did, as you saw, Bobby spotted it very nicely that Miss was able to dodge those grab spike. With a nice little jump, maybe it was like a nice little angle. I mean, otherwise, whenever you see a grab spike being pulled out, what can you do? You can just pray and hope for the best. But he managed to survive somehow. I think the fact that they saved up some of their operator skills for the end, you saw the Annihilator trying to behold to protect that hard point. That's pretty cool. I think the Annihilator is also just a badass gun to use, so.
I can't disagree. Bobby, I actually wanted to ask you about the grab spikes. So why are people maybe not using them as much, especially for the people at home asking, you know, obviously grab spikes, it seems like an obvious choice, right? An area of effect weapon, can't be missed with it. It's not down to, you know, whether or not you're having a good shot that day or not. Why are people using it? Why are people not using it?
So actually, there is a way to dodge the gravity spikes. All you really have to do is jump at the same time. Now, typically, it's more difficult to dodge whenever you're indoors because the gravity spikes vary in how high you jump, just depending on how much area is above you. If you're outside, it's very easy to dodge, but inside of a building, like we saw right there, very difficult to dodge, and he was still able to do it right there. So that's part of the reason why we don't necessarily always see people doing it. It used to be one of the top operators in the game, but it's gotten a couple nerfs, and that's part of the reason why we haven't seen it used quite as much anymore. But we are going to hop in to search and destroy on standoff. Cold Esports versus Hammer Esports. Obviously, Hammer's taking that first one, and as expected, we do see a pretty aggressive A push right here. Nobody able to get that first pick as of yet, and only 25 seconds on the board. Drari just barely mistimed that. I'm not sure if he was able to get the pick. He's going to take some shots over in statue area, and we got iBot right there with the chopper, just able to spray and pray. It is Cold Esports coming away with the 5 in the first round.
Wow, they were all pretty much alive there. I saw Drari, he hit the shot on the guy pushing him over at Fountain there, but unfortunately, he just got the hit marker and not the kill. It would have been I think it could have been a completely different round if he'd just gotten that kill with a snipe.
Yeah, definitely would have been, and we actually had Primza, I think, getting a trophy system kill. That's why we do see the 1 kill over on the side of Hammers Esports, but once again, we do see an aggressive A push right.
Actually muted, didn't I?
Plant. We see people holding CT tank side. Nobody able to find a pick yet. We'll likely see rotations all the way around the map as we got a couple people in back alley for Cold Esports, and we now have 3 players pushing in at the same time. Actually, a really good push right there for them. Nobody able to find first blood, and Jim's gonna hop up, hits the snipe. What a shot on the
and he's going for the defuse.
He's gonna go for the defuse. I think he's gonna get it in time. He is, and it's going to be a 2-0 lead for Cold Esports off the start.
I mean, as a spectator, we're seeing people through objects and walls, etc., but I have no idea how he knew to pull the trigger right there. That is an impressive shot, and also, I like the balls. You get 1 kill, you know what, like, maybe the opponents are busy doing, like, other things, trying to figure out what's going on, and he's just gonna instantly go for that defuse. I thought that was a great play, especially with the snipe. That's the kind of stuff that you want to be provided with during a tournament like this.
Yeah, we do get a trade off the start. Jim and Posh will both drop. Once again, we get the A plant coming out of Hammers. They're going with the same approach every time, but it seems like Cold just knows the perfect strategy to be able to counter. We do finally have Palma on that backside of Tractor holding down that back push with the LMG. Lands a few initial shots and actually gets the shot through the smoke. He wants the double kill. iBot staying alive. Gets taken out by his teammate. Sav is going to be the only player left. He does get a kill right here, but it's now a 1v2. And with the bomb down, it's going to be really, really challenging. We do have Palma backside with the chopper. He's going to win the gunfight. And we got Hammers Esports taking their first round win. That'll put us at 2-1.
I think that's such a huge round for them to win. If you lose, or if you're down by 3 in an S&D situation, you get that mental pressure. So I mean, really good by them to get that last round, or the first round, I should say. Sorry. But now I feel like anything can happen right here. I think both Cold Esports and Hammer Esports are both two strong teams. And I mean, why won't they just go and try and plant on B? Maybe they should do a little fake out to go 4 people towards A and then someone go and plant B. That could be like a really cool play that we might see.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see neither team really changing their approach at all. Most of the time, we've got Cold Esports allowing plant, and what a shot coming out of Jim. Unfortunately
he's on
for
fire
him,
now.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was an RPG headed his way, and there wasn't anything he was going to be able to do to dodge it. Yaya very nearly gets the shots on the Panna, but once again, we got Hammers Esports closing that one out pretty easily, and it seems like they've got a little bit better idea of what they need to do on that A plant. Typically on standoff, I'll give the advantage to the offensive side, so we'll see if they're able to maintain this momentum whenever they do hop over onto defense.
I'm interested to see, like, now both that Hammers has gotten 2 rounds in a row. Maybe this is the confidence they need to be able to play a little bit more aggressive, not have to worry too much about losing 1 round, etc. So I'm excited to see. I also want to know what iPanna is doing. I'm pretty sure that they are. It would be so nice to get a little listening soon, but I'm wondering what the comps are we're looking at when we're playing Search and Destroy as well. Because Search and Destroy, you kind of want to let your teammates know what you see, and when you get the kill, there's usually like call-outs, there's a guy on my X, etc., etc. So I'm hoping that their comps are clear and competitive.
Yeah, we definitely get a pretty passive push right here, which is surprising to see from Hammers after the last 2 rounds had gone so well for them trying to push the A site. We'll see whether or not they are going to be able to still close this one out. Obviously, 1 player down for both teams. We will see if there's any type of a swing in momentum, and right now it seems like things are going the way of Cold Esports. It is definitely the case, as that goes from a 4-4 down to a 4-0 in a matter of seconds. Cold Esports is able to close out the round, and they will now move over to the offensive side. We'll see which team that ends up benefiting
back
the most.
and forth, though, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I feel like the second they were trying to go for the beam bomb site, this was like Cold Esports was just ready for that. They were ready to shoot both the planter and also the guy who was protecting the plant there. I just hope that we get a nice little B plant, because if you go up into Grandma's house, you can actually look down a little bit on that plant. So I mean, it is a powerful site if you just manage to get that bomb down.
Yeah, we do see 2 players down already for Hammers, so the advantage once again going to Cold. They haven't actually played very aggressive over on the A site, but things working out. They do finally lose a player as Jim drops right there, but still a 2v4, pretty manageable. Primza's going to be the only player left. He'll drop right there, and Cold Esports will go up to the 4-2 lead.
Cold is going to take
looking like they may have that competitive edge when it comes to Search and Destroy. Obviously, different approaches for different maps, but they have looked really, really strong so far, with Sav at the top at 9 kills.
That is a lot of kills for a Search and Destroy map once you start thinking about it. I mean, there's only 5 possible ones. So, I mean, the second you start getting frags as well in a Search and Destroy, there's something about the confidence, like a confidence of a Call of Duty player. I mean, it's not only about that, but for sure you might be able to do a little bit more aggressive plays. So I'm curious to see how this plays out right now.
Yeah, we've yet to see a first blood for either team. Lots of shots going on. It looks like Ibot just going for the wall bang at this point, and Hammers has just not been able to get anything going in the second half of this Search and Destroy. They've lost 2 players already. It's going to be a free A plant coming out for Jim, and once again, the pressure is on. Another player will drop. It's now a 5v2, and Cold Esports continuing their dominance in Search and Destroy. Gonna be a tough clutch for Kosh, and he will drop, as does Panna. Once again, Cold Esports comes out on top. I believe Sav actually crossed over into double digits right there. He did, now up at 10 kills. Jim, like we said, has been so good with that sniper, and even though there's not a ton of easy angles to play on this standoff map, he's just been able to find those really difficult shots, and has been landing them time and time again.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to need that much of vision either. He can do the jump shot snipes as well. Spiky here, I'm wondering if he's going to be able to get a kill. He does not. And I mean, the pressure's on. Only 1 round left, and now it's a 3v4 right now.
Yeah, one-man advantage going the way of Cold Esports once again. Not surprising to see, especially given that they have yet to lose an offensive push on this map. Kosh, Primza, and Palma with a lot of pressure on right now, the game on the line. They're going to need to find a pick at some point here, and Ibot with that chopper just holding down all the difficult angles. We do have the A plant going down. Even more pressure being added to Hammers Esports. They're now going to need 4 picks and a defuse in 35 seconds. We do have Palma rounding the corner, gets taken out. We do have trades coming in, but still a one-man advantage for Cold. Kosh still looking to try to find somebody, but with two players on the bomb site, there's just not going to be a whole lot of easy angles that they can take. The head glitch on that tractor, too difficult to counter. Kosh trying to land shots, can't seem to get anything to go. Primza taken out as well, and it is Cold Esports with the convincing win, 6-2 over Hammers in Game 2.
Well, this is certainly not going to be a blowout for this one. It looks like both these teams, right, Cold and Hammers, are basically going at it. And you know what, Bobby, you must be a little vindicated here. You said, search and destroys. I am feeling Cold a little bit more than that. So finally probably put your heart rate down just a little bit. But why were they so good, right? Why was Cold able to just kind of elevate their S&D to another level over Hammer?
I mean, we always talk about how crucial the sniper is in Search and Destroy, and Jim just hit some absolutely ridiculous shots for Cold Esports. They were consistent across the board, even on the defensive. They were able to snag away a couple of rounds, and they just played so well throughout the entirety. Even when they lost a couple early rounds, they were able to bounce back really quickly, and they were able to pull it out relatively easily once they got to the strong side on offense.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll see what happens in the rest of this series. Of course, we are going to go now to a quick commercial break. We'll be back after this with more games here at the Call of Duty Mobile European Regional Playoffs. We'll see you right after this.
We will still be on here, but it's just taking a little break while they do their commercial. Yeah, we have about we have about 45 minutes left, so I think these two matchups will be the last ones for their stream. Because I don't think they want to go over that much. But yeah, I think we're going to have a good little matchup soon. Especially with the versus between those two. So yeah, we should have a nice little matchups going. We should have about 45 minutes left in the stream. Or in their stream. I don't think we're going to be here for much longer. It is very nice, though. It's going great. Who cup? Who the fuck cup? When did that play?
SC.
Whole lot. It's definitely going to be chaotic, and there's definitely going to be a lot of score streaks in play, so
Bro, I got
should be an entertaining one to watch.
Awesome. All right, I kind of want to put the same question to Taves. What about you? I mean, we won a piece at the moment. What do you think?
I mean, it looked like both teams, they're all very even, but we talked a little bit earlier. We mentioned Jim sniping, but we also seen that Drari can do a couple of snipes as well. So, I mean, let's just jump into the game and see what kind of stuff that we are going to be treated to this game.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are going to push over toward that little pizza area
Hammer
right there.
captured
We do have
the
Kosh
objective
getting
yet, so
taken
Gold is
out.
going to get
Yaya,
points
one kill on
faster.
the board, as does
Just a
Rari.
little bit.
No big frag plays coming in, and obviously lots of Molotovs are going to be played over on that B site. With 4 different areas to access it, it's going to be chaotic for sure, and Ibot actually makes a huge play for Cold Esports right there. A very early B cap, and that is going to give them a massive advantage, especially with how easy that's going to be to defend. They do have one player jumping up on the backside, and actually some progress over on the A flag. We actually see Hammers almost taking that and looking like they might be able to take the triple cap. They retake B. Not sure how that was able to happen, but Ibot with 4 kills on the board, we do have the double cap going the way of Hammers.
Yeah, you can see that this is a little bit of more of an aggressive loadout. There's a lot of SMGs and some ARs. I have not yet seen any snipers equipped, if I'm not wrong. But I also want to give a little shout out to Ibot. It seems like he's been playing Call of Duty Mobile even since release, and those double kills, even the triple kill that he got, just make sure that his team gets a little bit of an advantage. So the game is already neck to neck, but I'm wondering who is going to be able to actually lock down B, because B obviously is the site that you kind of need to get a little bit of extra points towards the enemies.
Yeah, we had Ibot right there in that mid area trying to take control of the map, but not able to do so. It's Hammers still maintaining control right here. They got 1 player inside, or 2 players inside Boiler Room, 1 over by Generators, going to be taken out. That could open up an opportunity, but with Drari on the flank, Ibot is in danger. He's lost a little bit, but will manage to stay alive as he hops inside that Boiler Room. Hopping up is Yaya, who wins the gunfight. Could be a tie turner as they have 2 players near the bomb site. Primza gets the double with the grab spikes. Big value for him right there. And we actually see 3 ASM-10s in play for Hammers as they try to hold down those longer angles from those Boiler Rooms. It is absolutely working perfectly for them so far.
I just love to see the ASM-10. There's something about the iron sight on it that's just so appealing. I mean, you don't really need a scope for it, so you can use a couple of extra slots for maybe more ammo or some grip to make the recoil a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, and unfortunately, after the really big game that he had whenever it came to... Oh my God, Hannah! I think he just got like 1,000 points from that War Machine.
Yeah, he should be able to get a couple of kill streaks off of that as well.
Yeah, he ended up dying right there, but no doubt, especially if he's got persistence equipped, that was huge value for him. And that was definitely a big play coming in, as it also stopped the beat cap for Hammers Esports. That's going to make it really, really tough for Cold to turn this one around. Obviously, changing sides could swing things. Like I was saying before, Jim, who had a really big game in Search and Destroy, struggled for a long time right there off the start, using the shotgun. Didn't pick up his first kill until pretty close to the end of that first round. They're definitely going to need bigger things out of him and Spiky in order to be able to close this one out.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the kill count on both teams here, I mean, Ibot is already on double digits, and he's the only one on the server as of right now who has that. I mean, he's been playing pretty well, and it's going to be just a brawl for B, I feel like everything is going to be about getting that B flag right now as early as possible as well.
Yeah, we see Hammers taking control right there. That's going to make life very, very difficult. For Cold Esports, one player on the site gets taken out by a Pred missile. We do have the Goliath on deck for Ibot, so pretty soon here we're going to start seeing those score streaks come into play. But with Ibot, the only player above 7 kills for Cold right now, it's going to be really tough for them to muster anything significant. We've got Kosh and Panna already up at 10 kills, and everybody pretty close to that area, so more than likely we'll start to see some of those bigger score streaks come in for Hammers.
Yeah, you can also see that there's a lot of operator skills that are ready, and I'm surprised I'm only seeing 2 grab spikes. Oh, it looks like Jim is already going to be picking up 2 with a War Machine. Gets another one with a shotgun as well. Love to see it. I mean, it looks like Jim is not only good with the sniper, but also with the shotgun and the War Machine.
Yeah, they get the beam cap right there, so that's going to be big. We'll see whether or not they're able to hold it as Jim does get taken out inside Boiler Room. Going from 0 kills off the start very quickly up to 9, definitely good for him. And it seems like the War Machine is absolutely the meta really on this map. Just with everybody trying to push for that B flag, it's so easy to get multiple kills, and it looks like it's actually going to be a C cap right here, as we do see Hammers Esports sending players all the way around the opposite side of the map. With no home flag for Cold Esports, it's going to be difficult for them to turn this one around. We do see Jim continuing to dominate with that shotgun, but it's now at the point where it's going to require a triple cap in order for Cold Esports to close this one out.
I was just going to say the Cold Esports was starting to look strong, but then Jim comes back with a Predator missile and gets 2 there. So I don't know, it's neck to neck. But I'd love to see the back cap and getting that C flag. That's going to also confuse the enemy team. They're like, should we go for B now? Where are we spawning? Where's the enemy spawning? It can really confuse everything.
And with Yaya inside Boiler Rooms, this could actually be huge for trying to hold Hammers back into spawn. It looks like they're content to basically camp the area that they're in. They're going to need to be aware of Pred missiles. Goliaths are going to immediately get one-shot by any Pred missile, so they're going to try their best to get some progress over onto the C flag. 3 players in the surrounding area. With a cluster strike on the way in, they're not going to be able to get it right now, but Yaya right outside that area could very well be able to push onto the site. He pushes in too early, though. He sacrifices his Goliath, more than likely. That's going to cost him the game, but Jim's on the flag by himself. He's wiped out 3 of the players. There's only 1 left. Taking shots, he's not able to take out Panna. So close right there. That would have been an absolute game changer. But 3 players now on the site. It looks like, short of a miracle, more than likely we'll be able to see Hammers close it out, and with the Goliath taken out, that basically solidifies it.
I mean, it is kind of close because Cold Esports do have 2 points, but I don't think it's going to be enough with that C flag taking out some extra points for Hammer Esports. It's very close. It's only 5 points left for them to actually bring this home this game. So.
That was so
close. We
close.
actually do see the B flag saved right there, but obviously they need the C cap in order to be able to finish one out. We got Ibot with the War Machine trying to push in, but with the cluster strike right there, it's just too little too late. A really good final push by Cold Esports, but they got the double cap just a little bit too late, and they weren't able to muster the comeback.
No, they unfortunately weren't. I will say, I think Jim put up a great game there several times. We saw him combining kills together along the way. And for me, I'm curious about that. You know, he seemed to be in a great position several times, but the team never really could convert it. Is that just him trying to make big hero plays, or that maybe his team let him down a little bit? What do we actually think went wrong for Cold Esports there, Bobby?
I think they just played a little bit too passive in the first half. A lot of it did come down to the slow start that Jim had. I think if he had been more consistent in that first half, I think it was close to 65 points in before he actually managed to get his first kill. And I think he actually finished the game as one of the top fraggers for Cold Esports. So it really came down to consistency. He wasn't consistent enough throughout the game. They grew the gap too much, and by the time he was actually able to get into a groove, it was just too late.
No, I can 100% see that as well. And Tapes, you know, we've spoken about Hammer before. You know, they seem very good on the respawn game mode. Do they really need to end this on map 4? Are you worried about it if it goes to a map 5?
I mean, I would love to see it go to a map 5 just for the excitement, but I don't know. It was as we said, like Hammer Esport, they were consistent all through the game. I gotta say, but I'm looking at Jim. Like if Jim, who considers himself to be the in-game leader, I believe, for his team, if he would have gotten off to a little better start, I'm sure that the results of the game could have been a little bit different. But I'm not sure. This next game is where it all comes down to.
No, I fully agree. I think for me, you know, going into this hard point here, if you're cold, maybe a little bit worried. You've lost 2 of the respawns so far, and fortunately, you know, you're a good search and destroy team, but you have to get there first, and that's always a daunting prospect, especially at this point in it. Bobby, I am going to ask, because, you know, you picked cold for this at the beginning. Are you a little bit more worried now, seeing just how good Hammer have come into this series?
Definitely a little bit worried, but I know that Cold is capable of coming away with the win. The main thing that they've just struggled with has been consistency and really all of the matchups. Most of the times when they've been losing gunfights, it's because they weren't holding map control, but most of the time when it's been held even on both sides, you've seen that Cold Esports, for the most part, has come out on top. Ultimately, in that domination, it came down to too little too late, and when it came down to the hard point, they just didn't have control of that first hard point. But we'll see whether or not they're able to make the rotations this time as we do get ready to hop into hardpoint. Spawn control is definitely going to be a really big factor as well. So that's another thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
I 100%. And with the benefit of hindsight, as we do get on the kind of casting and commentating team, do we see anything that maybe Cold War could change in their meta, or do they really need to tighten up, especially not just for this game? Because obviously, even if they lose here, they don't go out of this event, but they have to do more going forward. What do we think maybe their biggest weakness is, something they can improve?
Hammer has
I would definitely say just consistency. Like I said before, they showed in Search and Destroy that whenever they have all their players playing at their very best, they are next to unstoppable, and we know what they're capable of. It's really going to come down to execution. What we've seen coming out of Hammers is just that they've been able to capitalize on those points when Cold isn't consistent. So they themselves have been very consistent, but at their peak hasn't been able to play quite as well. But because they played really well throughout the entirety of the games, they've been able to close out both of the respawns. If they can do that in this next hardpoint map, I think they'll probably close it out.
All right, well, there we go. Things are going to cut it out and get the respawn going forward with it. But Taves, do you agree with that, or do you think that maybe this is all over and Hammers have it in the bag?
I mean, I gotta go with my initial prediction and say that Hammer is going to bring this one home. There's something about their playstyle that I like. I also love to see like the will that they seem to have to want to win. And I mean, hardpoint, I've seen them do good on that so far, so I'm still gonna go with that bet I had in the beginning.
All right, well, one thing we have spoke about a little bit so far in this broadcast, but I'm going to bring up once again here, is the fact that all these players are playing on the same phone, right? Every player has been given a Sony Xperia 1 Mark II to keep the competitive integrity intact. Not only that, but they have some fantastic features, including the game-focused mode, which we were actually privy to see demonstrated by Sony itself just before this event started, allowing you not only to close off all notifications, but free up RAM inside the phone as well. So I think it's a great thing for these players to not only have these phones that are excellent in terms of the size of them, but also have features that just basically make it an excellent mobile gaming phone. Tapes, I know you've done a video on this as well. What was your highlight on the phone?
I mean, as you mentioned, the Game Enhancer app is just crazy.
The Game Enhancer
I'm thinking back to when I started recording videos about almost 20 years ago on my very, very old PC. It was so difficult to record gameplay, and now even wanting to record a camera, like that would be crazy a couple of years ago. But now it's just built into an app on your phone, and you can get your face cam in it. And I had a lot of fun doing it. It's also like a pretty nice angle from underneath when you're playing. I guess you should hold the camera up a little bit more so you don't get that angle. But it is impressive. And also, I was actually I was doing some testing. I was connected my phone to my monitor, and I was a little bit of a Call of Duty mobile noob playing with a controller. I know I've been called out on that, but it just worked flawlessly, and I was having a lot of fun playing with it.
Also, that's great to hear. Like I said, I know we've had some really positive feedback from the players on getting to grips with this mobile gaming system, and we'll cover some more of the features as we continue through the broadcast, because there is a lot to unpack about this phone, about what they've actually done to optimize it for Call of Duty Mobile. But speaking of Call of Duty Mobile, it's time to get into our next map, and it is going to be Hardpoint Cold Esports versus Hammers Esports over to our cast.
Yeah, this is definitely a really interesting map for Hardpoint, just because spawn control is so crucial for these hardpoints. It's a very skinny map, but also on the longer sides, very, very low rotation. So this is kind of a free-for-all on the first hardpoint. We do have control for a little bit going the way of Cold Esports. They've actually managed to clear it out. Sav has 5-6 kills already.
Whoa.
We're a few seconds into this game. 6 kills. He's already got his 100-killer drone on the way out. Jim's got a UAV up. We do see somebody hopping down for the contest, but only 5 total kills for Hammers Esports. Absolute dominance between Sav, Jim, and Yaya. Over 13 kills.
They seem to be really rocking something good right now. If they keep this up, I'm wondering if it's not going to be just a slam dunk win coming out from them. And playing Hardpoint on Summit, this is a really classic Call of Duty map as well. And I mean, I just get goosebumps seeing that Hardpoint out. That's
on. That's not looking good for Hammer.
What is this called now? It's like Platform, I believe. It's just a cool map, and I'm starting to wonder if my prediction might be a little off here, because Jim, he's brought out the shotgun and he's running around locking it down. He's gonna get this kill on Kush. Easiest shotgun shot of his life. Oh my god. Bobby, I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah, this has been absolute dominance for the first time all game. We finally see Hammers making the contest. They're going to get a little time on the hill, but Sav sliding the corner. He's got the grab spikes. Picks up another easy kill. Kosh is able to win the gunfight, but Yaya contesting with the Molotov going out. It's going to be an easy kill coming in for him. One thing going the way of Hammers Esports is they do have control of spawns for that next hardpoint. We'll see whether or not Cold is able to flip those. If they are, it could be a very, very quick ending. We do have iPanel holding that long angle overlooking A. If he's able to hold that down with that ASM-10, that could prevent them from flipping spawns, but we do already have Ibot going all the way back into spawn. If he's able to take that, it could be a quick GG for Hammers Esports, who's already down 81 points.
Oh, this is not looking good. I feel like they have just been shook down to like their core. So I'm wondering if the tournament nerves are popping out. Maybe they started celebrating a little bit too early or something like that. They were feeling confident, but this is looking very much like a Cold Esport game right now, and even the War Machine on Jim. But he does not get that much value off of it, but they still have the point though, so it's not too big of an issue.
They're coming back, but it's...
And like I talked about earlier, spawn control is so big on this Summit Hardpoint map. We see that Cold was able to flip spawns. They've already sent out 4 players to try to take control of Next as well, with Yaya, with his Annihilator, also sending out the RC card. Actually misses the shot, and Drari's able to capitalize. But right now, Yaya and Sav combining for 29 kills.
That is
Once again, this has just
crazy.
it's been absolute dominance. I don't think there might be 29 kills between all of Hammers Esports. Down 110 points. It's going to be tough for them to close this one out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be as tough for them as me doing some quick math there, trying to count their kills count. But I didn't even get it to 29, but also I'm not very good at math. But it's going to be very difficult for for Hammer Esports with that 120 points to gain back. But they're doing pretty good right now. They already got a little bit of points, but I'm wondering, I don't think it's going to be enough. They're going to need pretty much a miracle here to get this point back.
Yeah, we have Cold Esports already gets the break. Sav and Yaya combined for 33. Spiky on the inside accidentally kills himself with the RPG. Probably a little less than ideal, but with control of spawns as well. Kosh does miss the initial shot with the Annihilator. He's going to be able to push in, getting the contest for the time being. Ibot holds out that War Machine, which we've seen do better and better throughout. They are finally able to flip spawns. They're able to push it to a 5th hardpoint with only 4 points needed, and the Molotov doing a whole lot of damage right there. I think Cold Esports is going to be able to close this one out. We get the contest. They get the control of Control Center for the time being. Let's see if they can make one of the craziest comebacks that we've ever seen.
I
This
mean,
would
it
be the
feels like
most
it's just
insane
pure
comeback
willpower
if
if they're
made.
gonna get this, because there's so little time left for Cold Esports to actually bring this game home.
Like,
I
it
mean,
would be quite
2
literally the
points.
most,
Hammer Esports are
the
fighting for their
hardest
life
comeback
to
ever.
stay
And if they
in.
couldn't do it,
Maybe they
this would
just
be
want to close out
insane.
this series, but I'm feeling it's going to go to a
insane,
map
and probably
number
one of
5.
the best plays.
Yeah,
But I
and
don't
this
think they can do
hardpoint
it.
has been contested for so long. There's so many obstacles that players
There's
are
no
able to
way
play
that
that
they're-
nobody's
they're
been able to
coming
get
back,
much
though.
time on it at all.
They've
I think
had
Hammers,
this
even
point
though
the
they've been
entire
on it for
time.
the
They
entire
may
time,
do it.
it's only
Nope,
been
there
able to
it
get
is.
a few seconds.
Oh.
We do have control for 1 second,
second
left.
but they get the contest again.
Oh.
Cold finally closes
So
it out.
close.
And
Wow.
it is a 150 to 58 win for Cold Esports.
That
who
was
absolutely
insane,
dominated
man.
that map.
Well, that was quite ridiculous from Cold Esports. They certainly came out all guns blazing. And I
Holy
think Zab,
fuck.
when I looked at the scoreboard early on, I think he was up 11 kills. I think the rest of his team had maybe 2 kills, 3 kills. The other team barely had any at all. He really opened it up there, which is why we saw the score go as it did, right? 60 points straight out the gap. It was kind of crazy for them. But here's the overall KD leaderboard for this one. And it looks like we got Narks from Kings Clan heading it up at the moment. Bobby, what do you make of this?
I mean, the fact that Cold Esports has 2 players on there, I think, is a big indicator. iBot and Jim, 2 guys that we've been talking about the entire
I
team.
think if it's
And the
Cold
top
Esports, I
fragger
think
for that
on the James, I
hardpoint
think
game
they're
isn't
gonna
even
win.
on here for Cold Esports. So
Holy
that shows you
fuck,
they've got
they
3
went
players that
fucking
can
hard.
absolutely fly through the map. iBot and Jim have both made really big plays throughout this series. Obviously, we don't have anybody on there for Hammers Esports, but they have been really good. But we saw a lot of dominance in the first Search and Destroy, which is what we're getting ready to hop into. Cold Esports has got to be feeling really good about the position that they're in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, right? Cold Esports, we were wondering whether or not this is going to end here, and it was a little
That
bit of
was
a
a
split opinion
massive fight.
as we spoke about them, but now, I mean, you've got to be feeling Cold Esports just a little bit there, Tate.
Yeah, I mean, after that performance, what can I say? I mean, watching Call of Duty gameplay like that, I have no complaints. I mean, I'm just hoping that it's going to be an even last game here, and we're moving over to Search and Destroy, so I mean, pretty much anything can happen.
Well, it looks
Yeah.
like we're actually going to quickly jump into this U4X versus Kulash game. An interesting stat line I was actually given just before this one. Apparently, no players for Kulash have a positive KD in domination going into this one.
Yeah,
that's
that's
gonna set him
actually. Yeah, it's very surprising to hear, given that the game is as close as it is. Obviously, we do have the U4X cap over on the B flag very, very early on. There's a cluster strike on the
platinum
way
vector
in, which
already?
not sure who that's going to go the way of. It's actually going to go the way of Kulash. And they've got quite a few players already up close to 20 kills. It looks like so far this has been an absolute frag fest. They're able to get the triple cap right here. And it looks like they could turn things around and potentially push this to a game 4.
I just want to see Mr. hit like the triple kill there, but he was not able. He only got 2. But getting a triple cap this early on the second round, this is going to mean a lot of points going their way, actually.
Oh, so it's apparently going into this game, nobody from Kulash had a positive KD, and we got Mare already up at 21 kills. We got Flacco, who's bottom fragging for the team, but he's inside of a Goliath. I think he gets hit by the Tempest from up top. That's going to get him taken out very easily, but it does look like U4X is turning this one around a little bit, despite the fact that it seems like all the fragging power is going the way of Kulash. They understand that if they lose this game, they are out of stage 4 completely. It is an absolute must-win for them, and even though they do get a Goliath down bottom by the B site, they're not able to get the cap, and that is going to be really big for U4X, who, despite the fact that they're having some trouble winning their gunfights, is looking to close this one out. We do have some progress over on the side of the A flag, though, for Kulash.
I mean, you can see Lucky, he's just locking down the trailer right here, which is an important part of the map, and I'm not seeing it. I do wish that Kulash the best of luck, but I'm starting to wonder if it's not going to be U4X who's going to bring this map home. They have 2 caps with A and B, and they don't even have to worry about C right now, so.
Yep, the cluster strike on the way in is going to make things a little bit easier for Kulash, who's looking to make the rotation over toward the B site. 513 HP Lucky on this Goliath is going to make life very easy for Chico, but he actually has Lucky hop in behind and absolutely destroys him. A
He gets
potato fest
another
right
one on Mug.
there. Yeah, and it's actually the Goliath dropping. We do have some progress on the C flag, and it looks like U4X is oh no, they didn't lock it down. They need like a 1/10 of a second.
Oh,
They
that's
actually
so
missed out on the
close.
cap, but it's a triple cap needed for Q-Lash to close this one out.
I feel like there's not much that you can put over
Yeah,
to that.
you and
But
that
Seth
U4X
also gets a triple
got this.
kill there. I think
I
that's
knew they
it.
would.
That's everything
It
they
was
needed to
close,
lock this
though,
game
like, at
down.
the
But
beginning.
Lucky, those shots with the Annihilator, the triple kill, some impressive Annihilator gameplay in this game.
That was a good, cool match at the end.
Yeah.
There we go. It does look like we are going to say goodbye to Q-Lashed for the very first team to go at the tournament. Not the achievement you probably want to achieve in anything like this sort of event, but it is an elimination game, so one of them has to leave. But U4X, obviously, we spoke about them earlier on. We thought they could do a little damage here in the lower bracket, and seems to be so. I'm guessing the only way is up, Bobby.
Yeah, they looked really good throughout the entirety of that. Even though it looked like they kind of struggled in that first half of domination, it still seemed like when they were losing their gunfights, they were able to hold map control well. They were able to control spawns, and ultimately it did come down to them holding that B flag for just long enough to be able to close it out. Unfortunate for Q-Lash, they definitely put up a good fight, but I'm expecting big things from U4X. I think they could ruffle some feathers and potentially take out one of these winners bracket teams.
Yeah, well, speaking of the winners bracket, we are obviously going to go back into that map 5, our first map 5 here so far of this event. And of course, it will be Hammers Esports
wish I could lay on
versus
my
Cold
bed.
Esports as they go into this map 5. Here we go. It's Search and Destroy over to our casters.
Oh, search on this?
Yeah,
This could be
we
interesting.
will have a pretty aggressive B push, it looks like, coming out of Hammers Esports off the start. 2 players defending over toward players on the inside of that little cubby, and we see trades coming in for both teams. It will be Cold Esports losing quite a few players off the start. Jim now all by himself against the 3 remaining players for Hammers. He does have 1 kill already, and looking to push in, trying to find somebody in
Another
that back angle. He's
DC
actually going to
player?
send out the grenade with the trophy system already down on site. Not going to be able to do anything with that. Spots somebody right there, and I believe it's a glitch player, so I don't think he took any shot right there. Won't give away his position. He's actually going to pull out the pistol and sliding the corner, not able to spot anybody quite yet. Looking over toward the head glitch on boxes, still 15 seconds to work with. Not a whole lot for him.
Oh,
He's
that's
palming
unlucky.
through there. Not
That's
going to be able to
unlucky.
land the shots, and we do have Hammers Esports taking that
That's
one.
really unlucky for
I
him.
was really hoping there was going to be a little bit of a sniper play, but obviously sometimes there's going to be glitches and stuff, maybe throwing his aim off a little bit. I was certain that he was going to get like an easy headshot on AFK player there, but you know, maybe that's just all Hammer Squad needed a little bit to get some good confidence here. I'm starting to wonder how this map is going to be ending. Like, if we're always going to be seeing B pushes, what do you think, Bobby? Do people prefer planning on B on this map, or is A usually the play that you want to go for?
Honestly, it's pretty split. I feel like there's not any massive advantages to either
Wiggle,
one.
wiggle,
Obviously,
wiggle.
a little
Wiggle,
bit
wiggle,
easier
wiggle.
to defend the
Wiggle,
A
wiggle,
site,
wiggle,
especially
wiggle.
if you're
That's
able
funny.
to get somebody over to lock down that trailer area. But pretty, it really just depends on the team and what their advantages are. It looks like Cold Esports is going to be able to close this one out with
Yeah,
one player
Cold got
remaining, and
this.
Jim hits the final
I
snipe
think Cold's
to
gonna
drop the
take the
last
dub,
remaining
though.
member of Hammers Esports. And looks like once again he is in the zone. The sniper is locked on and playing a really big role for his team with 3 kills through 2 rounds.
I can't believe we're in a game 5 and it's this close, and we're actually finally getting some search and destroy action to finish off a series. I mean, 1-1. It looks like maybe Hammer Sports are going to be thinking about doing a little bit of a B push this time around. And Dari's
This
also
is gonna be
a sniper
interesting.
that we've seen a
Hopefully
couple
Cold
of cool
wins,
kills
though.
from in this
I really have
tournament.
faith
So
that they'll
maybe he
win,
can
'cause they
challenge
seem
Jim
to
to a
be
couple
the
of
better of
sniper
the two.
fights later.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the approach for Hammers Esports right now. A lot of times teams will try to take this approach where they kind of sit back, They play passive on the offensive, and typically
good
it just
little
doesn't
corner.
go the way
He
of
sees
the
it, saw
offensive
his arm,
team
I
whenever
think.
they don't try to push a site. They're not able to get any picks yet, and already
No one has
45
gotten a
seconds
kill,
tick
but it
down.
looks like they're
that starts to put more and more
Cold
pressure on them
Esports
and
is
forces
holding
them to
down
pick a
that
side. It's actually
What
everybody
Hammers should probably
over
do
on
is go
the B
A
side
bomb instead.
for
'cause
Cold.
if
So
they
if
try
we
for
do
that, they're
see
gonna
Hammers
die.
try to push that side, it looks like they will do so. This could be an
Oh.
easy defense. We get trades coming in for both teams. Kosh is on the backside looking
Was
to
that
pick
a
up another
literal
one,
trade?
gets the assist, now a one-man advantage.
It was,
He sees
that's
3
nice.
players through mid, not able to land the shots, and once again a trade coming in. Jim's still alive, which is great to see if you are Cold. We do see a trade coming in,
Ooh.
however, and Jim, what a quick scope.
shot!
Beautiful shot
I
right there.
wish I
Now
could've
at
seen that from his
2v2, and the
perspective.
bomb is still not down. That's going to make things really difficult for Hammers.
I mean, the time is ticking down right now, but this is an interesting game. It's 2v2.
Cole
and
just
I
has
feel
to
like
keep him from
sometimes in
planning.
Search and Destroy it could be good
Ooh.
not to have too much of a rush.
Those
I'm just
are
gonna stop right
nice.
there. Whatever I was saying, it's not even
Dirty,
anywhere
dirty,
as
dirty.
interesting to watching Jim snipe. That was crazy. And that
Those
was a
some
1v2
dirty, dirty,
situation.
dirty
I'm
stuff.
hoping that Prisma is going to be able to do something here, but
It's
it's
too
looking
late.
very difficult.
That
Yeah,
round
the
goes
bomb's
Cold.
down on the B site. He's just decided to go AFK, and it is absolutely Jim winning those first 2 rounds for them.
That was
he has
a
been
dirty
so
match.
good so far, and continuing to have success with the sniper. His quick scopes
I
have been
lo-
on
those
point.
snipes
On the
are
long
fucking
angles, the short angles, he
brutal,
seems to
man.
have them all covered, and 5 kills through the first 3 rounds for him.
Yeah, I saw in the beginning of the round, I'm pretty sure it was
Absolutely
Drari
brutal.
and Jim holding a little bit towards the trailer side of the map, and they were not able to snipe any of each other, but it was still
couldn't get out.
very close to them being able to spot each other.
Yeah, we got Cold Esports going up a man advantage again. Drari struggling to find those picks with the sniper. We do have a trade coming in. 3 players remaining for each team with Jim alive. Definitely not too much to worry about if you are Cold Esports. The smoke's going to go down, and it looks like it may have actually been a bait as we see them counter-rotating over toward the A site. I believe a nade down right there and very nearly takes out Drari, but he's able to get away with his life.
think
And
one of their guys
we do
can
see
see that.
actually one player
That-
over
these
on
are
the
some
defense for
insane
A.
snipes,
Drari
though, like,
looking to
oh,
find a
God, like-
pick right here. Not
So far,
spotting
we've had
anybody
like
quite
2 quick
yet.
scopes from
Actually,
Jim. That was really
getting
nice.
a little aggressive right there with the mid push. Might spot
Looking
one
really
player
well.
right there. I believe it is a sniper battle. One player will go down.
I'm
Jim's
still hoping
alive.
Cold
He's
Esports
inside
can take
American.
the dub.
Misses the shot. That's actually a really, really big miss.
Oh,
Comes to
oh,
flame.
oh.
Coming
Flying
out
from
of
Ibot.
Ibot. He gets 2 kills on that, and the
And
bomb
then
is
it's just
down on
CFK.
site again. It's now Primza versus the 2 remaining Cold Esports players.
I don't think they know where Prims is, though. I'm wondering
he's
if Prims
AFK
is
in
having a
spawn.
little bit of technical difficulties, possibly.
No.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but they don't know where he is, so
Rip
hopefully he'll be
Hammer.
able to reconnect before this round is over.
You really hate to see that. Obviously, it's probably going to be Cold closing this one out with only 11 seconds for him to get the plant down. There's no way he's going to be able to do it in time.
Dude,
I really
you'd have
do
to kill
hope
2
that he
people
does
in 10
reconnect in
seconds,
time
dude.
for us to be able to finish this one out, because I would love to see a fair finish between these 2 teams.
100%. I feel like even Cold Esports, sure, they might get the win, but it's not going to feel as good if you win, if someone has disconnected, as it does if you are winning a full team. So
Damn,
let's
that
let's
sucks.
just pray a little bit for Prisma there.
Yeah, it does look like they still have an AFK in spawn,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a 4v5 for the time being. Hopefully he'll be able to reconnect at some point in the next couple rounds to give Hammers a shot, but with Cold already with a 3-1 lead, it's going to be really, really difficult, especially with the way that Jim is playing right now. Drari, the sniper for Hammers Esports, only 1 kill on the board. He's just not been able to do anything to counter against Jim.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much Hammers Esports is probably doing
This is a
everything
good
they can.
matchup,
So
though,
I mean,
not gonna
I'm
I think
hoping
Crimson
that.
might be back.
Oh. 5v5?
Oh, he might be back.
Yeah, he is back.
He's
It's
moving.
a 5v5.
Prime
Nice.
Prisma, go!
All right.
Let's hope
We're
they can
back
take
in
it
full
back.
action. Still a minute remaining, and it is a very aggressive B push right here.
Oh,
They
they
take
get
one
the
player out. Oh, but
Yeah.
it's huge kills coming in for Cold Esports.
Oh
they lose
my
one, but in
lord,
return
Spiky
get
also
four.
can
It's now
disconnected.
Drari by himself, and it looks like the B play was just not it for Hammers. Now
They're ma-
4-1
hey,
lead
Cole
for Cold
is gonna
Esports,
take it.
who's looking to close this one out and to continue moving up in the winners bracket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that Hammer Esports are not feeling like they're being.
Oh my lord, there's just disconnect
they're
after
struggling too
disconnect.
much because of that disconnect. I mean, it can happen, but all they have to do is kind of lift up their heads and try and focus on these rounds. I mean, all they need is one round victory, I would say, and they can get their self-confidence back, because this was such a close game, and unfortunately, technical difficulties can set you back, or possibly something else. But I mean, it's looking very strong for Cold Esports right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the way that Jim has played so far, not surprising to see Cold playing passive off the start. He's going to hold down that spawn angle. We do have a frag coming in, and it will be the advantage for Hammers. Jim's going to retreat. Might potentially go for a shot through the smoke right here, but for Hammers, you got to be happy with the way this round is going so far. We do have a trade coming in, but just like that, Cold Esports evens things up. Drari and Palma will drop, and Palma's been the only player that's been able to get any type of momentum. The perfect gun trigger discipline, and Jim wanted the defuse, but doesn't go for it right there.
I was
Or no, he gets the
certain
bomb
that
plant
Ibot
down.
was going to spray down the entire team there.
This is close.
Ooh, he's gonna pick up the chopper right there.
Oh no.
Oh,
It's
he's
now
ready.
only Jim left, and he has the chopper.
Oh, but
rip.
they're ready
Very
for
difficult.
a perfect counter right there for Hammers Esports. They're able to finally take a round win. They do seem more comfortable over on the defensive side. We'll see if they can continue to turn things around as they try to work their way back from a 4-1 deficit.
I mean, if Hammer Esport can, work besides this little hiccup that they had, I think this is something that would set them apart from different teams. Like, this is all about the mental capacity now. It's not gonna be easy, but I'm a little bit crossing my fingers for them now.
Yeah, we do have players dropping for both teams, but it will be Cold Esports coming away with the advantage. One spotted right there.
bad
Jim
snipe.
not shooting. I don't know what happened right there. He could have very easily closed out that round.
That was
But
some
just
bad
like that,
sniping.
This is going to be pretty scary for Jim, because Ipana has that QQ9, which is very good on close range, and I think Jim has the sniper still, but with a pistol as a second there. So if this becomes very close quarters battle, maybe the pistol can come out on top.
Is he gonna try for a
Right now,
sneak?
it's looking like Ipana might be a little bit stronger, but then again, the bomb is down, so he has to do something about it. Is he going to spot Jim? Is he going to see him?
Oh, Panda
he
seems to
knows,
know
he knows,
exactly.
he
He
knows,
doesn't
no,
know.
Oh,
No, Jim misses the shot. He hit Parker the second one. Panda clutches right there.
No.
Please, he has time, he has time.
What was
Run,
that?
man. All right. It's going to be
can't believe
4-3.
what I
That,
just saw.
Jim.
I was
Jim.
certain that he missed him as well.
Oh my god.
I mean, my blood is pumping now. I can only imagine what's going through the players' minds, if they're excited, if they're
Jim, what
nervous.
was
I mean,
that?
there's a
Why
lot of money
was-
on the line. I mean, this is not a bad paycheck if you can get out on top here.
Yeah, it seems like the nerves just getting the better of Jim right there. Whiffs the first wide open shot. He had played that so perfectly and just wasn't able to make anything happen. Unfortunate to see the hit marker right there. Misses another shot right here. Not able to get the kill. We do have a one-man advantage once again, and with him missing those shots, definitely a good thing that Cold has been able to turn this one around and get the man advantage, make it a two-man advantage. Pana, the only player left, but we've seen him clutch this before. He's on the inside
There it
of
is.
Wood. He's not going to be able to clutch the 1v3, and it is now match point for Cold Esports. 5-3, will they be able to close
This
it
is
out?
close.
I
know it's 5-3,
I feel
but
like
it's really
they're
close.
probably going to be able to do that, but I'm
Especially
wondering
if
if
Jim's
Jim
choking
is
that
going
bad.
to be able to get a couple of snipes again, because right now it looks like they're playing pretty aggressive, Hammer Esports. I mean, when he was stuck there behind a car, there was not much that he could do actually right there. So I'm wondering, maybe if Jim gets a pick with a sniper, it's going to go their way. Otherwise, I think maybe Hammer Esports has a little bit of air under their wings, so to say. They're flying a little bit at least.
Oh my gosh, but Jim is bouncing back. Finds the location of one Hammers Esports player over on the A site. Wallbang through the metal wall, and that will open up the wide open A plant for them. Everybody for Hammers over on the B side, and that's definitely not where you'd like to be, especially with the bomb going down right here. Jim will get the plant, and it is all pressure on for Hammers Esports.
I mean, this is the round that Hammer Esports really have to come together as a team, push together, trade, and possibly even get a couple of extra kills. I'm not sure how it's going to plan out. I mean, you see Ibot holding at the back next to the car there. I think this retake is going to be extremely difficult unless we see some sort of crazy plays coming in.
Salma doesn't see Sav in the corner, gets the double. That's going to make things more difficult. It's Cold Esports. I believe Yaya gets the double kill right there. 6-3, and they do close that one out to take the win and continue advancing in the winner's bracket.
That was a good match.
Well, there you go. Cold end up locking that series down. Hammer, while they have lost, will only go into the lower bracket, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them later on in this tournament. But Cold Esports finally come out and take it down. We knew they were a good search and destroy team, and they kind of showed it once again here. Let's talk a little bit then, Bobby, about Jim, for instance, because I think he had a great series.
Yeah, Jim was just kind of all over the place. He was either best sniper in the world or just couldn't hit what was directly in front of him. He made the shots happen. Probably not when they counted the most, but the time when they second counted the most. So obviously those whiff shots behind the truck over by the A site, typically don't want to see those, but he was able to turn things around. That first blood in the final round was absolutely huge as he was able to find the wall bang. And that was what really turned the tides in that last round to open up the wide open A push, gave them the easy win on that round and allowed them to move on.
That was a good matchup.
No, I couldn't agree more here. And
that was,
Tate, what do you think was maybe the best aspect of Cold coming into that one here? Because they had little ups and downs going through it, but obviously ended up finishing strong. So what's their biggest tribute?
I mean, we've been talking a lot about Jim, but I think we got to talk a little bit about Ibot. We saw some really good big brain plays, if I may say. He's also rocking, as we mentioned earlier, he has a really good KD ratio, and in this game he actually got 10 kills and only died 3 times, which is crazy on search and destroy, if you ask me. So he might have been a really big benefiter for them to bring this game home.
No, I can agree more actually as well. And I think one of the other things we saw, like, take that last round for instance, you know, they managed to get set up. Cold had a great setup going for it, and they just, I think Hammer were maybe rushing because they were a man down to get to that bomb plant, and they didn't hit their corners well enough, and it just meant they just didn't have the greatest of trades available to them, Bobby.
Yeah, and we even saw as they were approaching that trailer push right there, I thought they saw the gun barrel sticking out around the corner, but they weren't actually able to see it, and that did end up costing them in a big way. The double kill out of Sav was really huge right there to kind of close the deal, as he had a teammate sliding in from the opposite side to get the double kill.
This was a great matchup.
But also, like Teb said, I think one of the really underrated players of that matchup was Ibot. Obviously, using an LMG, you're not going to have a lot of flashy plays. You're not going to have a lot of one-taps, but he consistently played really smart. He got the kills when they needed it, and I think he was honestly the most consistent player throughout this matchup. In my opinion, he was definitely one of the biggest factors for them.
All right, well, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on him for the rest of the tournament. And speaking of the rest of the tournament, Bobby, now that we've seen Cold take down a team like Hammer Esports, how confident do you feel that they're going to go all the way in this?
I want to say really confident, but I also know how good Kings and Singularity are. I know they're going to give them a run for their money. And I also know that there's a good chance that we could potentially see Hammers make their way out of the losers bracket, and we could potentially see a rematch, which I would not be upset about at all. Go into a Game 5, and honestly, if we hadn't had a disconnect early on for Hammers Esports, it would have been a completely different story. So I'm interested to see what that's going to play to.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, speaking of Cold Esports, we are actually now going to go to an interview with Jim from that team. So I believe he should be on the line with me. First time we've done this broadcast. Let's see if this all goes smoothly.
Hello.
Jim, how are you, first of all?
Flustered. It was a very intense second round game. But yeah, I'm happy with the performance. I'm happy with how we played. I'm sure you're going to see more of that from us.
No, I certainly hope so as well. Take us through that series then, right? Because obviously,
There it is.
for us watching, can only experience it from, the hindsight, but being in there, map 1 obviously didn't go great for you. Take me through it.
So it's clear to me that they've done their research, and they took us out of the game with our usual strategies that we enjoy playing. It works for us. We had to adapt really quickly to how the game was going. It just wasn't working for us on the respawn, which is our strongest game mode, funnily enough. So
okay.
yeah, we reorganised and we brought it back together, as you can see.
No, I certainly can. That's something we actually brought up when we were talking about your team for this one, is that realistically, it did seem like Hammer maybe had your number a few times in the respawn, but your search and destroy was really solid, really locked down, and you just kind of had it over them as well. Is that something that you maybe practiced a lot to make sure those takes and those retakes work for you?
Well, it's down to hours and hours of practice, Search and destroy, definitely, because for us, well, I wouldn't say our weakest game mode, but it takes the most practice, planning, working out strategies.
No, that makes perfect sense to me as well. Like, I know how hard it can be to kind of get search and destroy smooth, because, like I said, when you go one life around, right, you have to play it very, very carefully as well. Now, is there anything you're taking away from that? Because taking down Hammer Esports at this point in the tournament is obviously a big win for you. It pushes you forward into the winners' final. Is it now going to be a little bit of recuperate with the team and make some adjustments anywhere?
I think there's going to be a few slight adjustments, but mostly it's just going to be more practice and good rest. Definitely good rest. It's very intense playing at this level. We've played at this level for a while, but this is probably the most intense it's been for a long time, so we've got a bit of rethinking to do.
Awesome.
This
well,
is a good match.
Glad to hear, and I'll let you recuperate with the team. Then it's been a pleasure, not just speaking to you, but watching you so far in this tournament. But thank you very much for this interview, and congratulations on the win, Jim.
Cheers. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, Bobby and Tapes, what did you make of that interview? He seems pretty relaxed there, actually, at the end there, Bobby.
Yeah, I figured he would be like a little more stressed, maybe a little sweaty, but he seemed like he was just chilling, didn't have a care in the world. So I think that's probably a big reason why he was able to hit some of those shots. I think having a kind of a calm approach to search and destroy, especially, and being able to clearly think through your approach is definitely a big factor in being able to win some of those big matchups, and probably was a big reason why he was able to make so many of those big plays.
No, I agree. Like I said, he had some very big streaks going on during that game. We saw him certainly pull out that shotgun and put it to devastating use. Tapes, let's talk a little bit about what he said about respawns in the S&D. He kind of said, hey, we thought our respawn was our strongest game mode. It turns out that Hammer kind of had their number. What did you make of it?
I mean, this right now, it seems like they're kind of good at both things. So
Like I said,
I'm sure they're
that
both
was
good
last
on
match. I don't
S&D
think
and
they're
on
gonna do
killing games.
Anymore, maybe one more.
That's fair enough. I
match
think
set
we'll look forward to
before
see how they match up maybe later in the tournament against other teams. Give us some good benchmarks to figure out exactly who's the strongest at various game modes for this. But before we do that, we are going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will, of course, have more action.
Don't want commercials going. How many matches are they doing today? Yeah, I don't know. They've been streaming since 6 a.m. 6:30. It's 10:47. That's nearly 4 hours. 6 hours at most, I think. I want this to be done soon, though, so I can go do some grinding so I can stay in the top 1% of the coins. You know? They're actually doing a lot of stuff this game, though. Yeah, everything's unlocked. I could leave now. I'm gonna restart the stream, though, so just give me a second.